Hospital scissors as a weapon and to pleasure oneself. This is a crazy story, and I shared about the arrest a few days ago, but the actual victim has posted on Facebook, so I want to share that post with you. It says, "This was so hard to recount. I tried to do a video and couldn't do it, so I decided to write it. Last Sunday, June 2nd, I was supposed to go fishing with a friend in Barling at the river, but she ended up getting sick and couldn't make it. I don't feel comfortable going there alone, so I decided to drive to Ozark and go to the Ozark Park and fish off of the pier. I've taken all of my kids there for years. I, for the most part, felt safe there. When I got there, I slipped my car keys into my bra like I always do when I'm alone. All that was in the parking lot. When I got there were 3 trucks, 2 white and 1 blue. They all had boat trailers, an older black Jeep Wrangler. There was 1 woman and 2 girls, and they went with the white boat with red accents and a black SUV parked close to a man fishing. I figured it was his. I grabbed my pole, chair, and backpack and set up on the pier. I tied my Walmart bag with my worms in it to my chair and clipped my tackle backpack onto my chair to be safe. Baited my hook and got busy. I caught 2 catfish right off the bat, then threw my hook back in. 2 men walked up to the man fishing to my right on the bank and was talking to him. I couldn't hear what was being said. I just mentally acknowledged they were there. The next thing I know, one of the men with no shirt walked over to me and started talking, saying crazy things that made no sense. One thing was he could tell the future. I said, "So can I?" He said, "I can prove it." I said, "So can I?" He talked about cutting his hand on a sink. His hand was wrapped in gauze. The other man, taller than the man standing in front of me, to my right, came over and stood behind me. And to my left, the man that was fishing, he left as soon as the second man walked over to me. I couldn't understand why he would leave me there with those 2 men. The next part happened so quickly, but it felt so slow at the same time. The first man in front of me started rubbing himself with his left hand. I had a cut on the knuckle part with blood on it from how it looked. He talked about getting blood on him and his pants. Then he went back to rubbing his privates again, then laughed and said, "Sorry, that ain't appropriate, is it?" I said, "No, it isn't." He kept doing it. I asked to be left alone. He just kept doing it. Then he asked if I wanted to play a card game. I said, "No." He said, "Come on, pick a card." I said, "Queen of Hearts." He said, "You changed it, huh?" I said, "No." He said, "Ace of Spades," and said, "You changed it." I said, "No." Then he started rubbing himself again, talking about how big he was, and inched closer while asking if he could set his white plastic bowl that had gauze in it with metal medical instruments, a couple different types of scissors, one with a blunt end and another sharp, and long tweezers that I could see. I told him no, but he set it on top of my phone. I believe it was when he asked that, his buddy that was with him said he was going to the bathroom. I thought to myself, I need to get out of here. I turned toward the man in front of me and glanced behind me quickly to see if he had truly left. I didn't want to turn my back on the one in front of me. I don't know where the man went that was behind me. That's when the man in front of me took a couple of steps closer and set the bowl down and instantly picked up and palmed what looked like about a 5 or 6 inch long pair of scissors that had a sharp tip from the white plastic bowl. He instantly got even more aggressive and was almost right over me with his crotch about a foot away from my face, and the scissors pointed toward my neck. So I quickly twisted my chair away from him and jumped out. At the same time, my phone slid into the seat, so I snapped my chair closed. He began swinging the scissors towards me and talking about getting blood on his pants. I believed he was trying to scare me. I kept the chair between me and him, shoving it towards him every time I saw his arm with the scissors flex. I made it to my passenger side of my car when he tried to get into the back passenger side. I slammed the door closed and quickly hit the lock on the handle. I ran to the driver's side as he tried to open the front passenger side. I unlocked the driver's side through the chair and jumped in and locked it as he made it to the front of the car. He tried to open my door, disappeared a moment. I heard a thud. I think he tried to get into the driver's passenger side, but it was locked. He came back to my window and screamed something, but I couldn't make it out. I was in my car and he was doing all that. I started my car, hit the call button to call Jeff, my husband, and put it in reverse. By the time I got the car turned around, Jeff was on the phone asking if I was okay. I was crying and having trouble breathing at the same time. The man had made it all the way across the parking lot. I thought he had to have ran. I kept saying, hold on, over and over because I wanted to get a picture of this man. After I got 5 pictures, I broke down crying harder and got out of there as fast as I could. Jeff told me to go over to the police station. I did. I went from crying to focused over and over. When I got to the police station, it was locked. I panicked and ran back to my car and broke down again. I told him the parking lot was empty and I don't feel safe. I still didn't know where the other man had went or if I was followed. I needed to go somewhere public with people. He said go to Walmart, so I did. When I got there, he told me to call 911. I did. The 911 dispatcher told me where to go to get to the station. I could hear her talking to the police. I was given a choice of going straight to the sheriff's department / detention center because the police station is closed on Sundays, or instead I could meet the police at a certain place and give them what I had. That way he could get him in custody faster. So I did the latter. I gave them all I had in detail, all the pictures. They know who it was. The officers told me he had assaulted several other women, but couldn't give any information because it was an ongoing investigation. He just got bolder and more violent with me. They went to his house, but he ran. They caught him at the square. The other man can't be accounted for. At the last interview, they wanted me to identify him again. I did, down to detail of the tattoo on his left shoulder, what he had on him, and mainly the weapon he used. They told me everything I did was right. They said I put this guy away. Sean, Zena, and Jeff got there not long after that. Jeff wanted to go sit down somewhere so I could calm down before having to drive back home. Zena went with me in my car. Before we could leave, one of the other officers called and told me he caught several felonies and he put an order of protection on me so he can never contact me or get near me. And if I can, I want to be in court when he goes. I want him put away. The only reason I'm posting this is to bring awareness to women. It can happen to you. Get protection and watch your surroundings. Stop being friendly and stop worrying about coming off as rude. This is your life. I could have been murdered on the pier and thrown into the river. If he got into my car, I could have been murdered there or taken or worse happen. I still can't believe what happened, but if one woman reads this and takes some positive steps in their safety, it's worth the embarrassment and shame I have and lectures I'm sure I'll hear. So that was the post. Now, as women, I think that women always, unfairly so, but always have to be on guard regardless. And this woman was. She was already on guard before any of this stuff happened. Now, this man has been charged, like I said before, with indecent exposure, aggravated assault, and disorderly conduct. It remains to be seen if more charges will follow this, but I just wanted to share this post and get the word out there. These kinds of things do happen. People can be unpredictable. That people are unpredictable. And you never know who someone really is, especially when you see someone out in public.